D, wait for it, rightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So I just finished episode 3 of She-Hulk, and man, so she defended Abomination in this episode, and this show is a complete abomination. I'd say it's an abortion because it's bad. Wow. Now, I just want to say, if you like this show, I just think that the writing on this show is really, really bad, and I'm going to get to some of it. And I'm going to talk about stuff because it's very obvious that Kevin Feige has lost leadership over at Marvel because he's letting these writers write whatever they want and not pay attention to past movies. So if you're anybody that enjoys that, cares about canon, I don't see how you can enjoy this show because it's very obvious. And the writers, they've said stuff that I'm just like, why would you admit to that? And this show is really just, just an outlet for the She-Hulk, the man haters club, because it's very obvious that this show is they're just trying to dig at men every chance they get. I don't know why, because if this show would just have followed the comic books, it would be better. It would be better because the comic books, listen, I don't personally like Dan Slott's writing, but the one thing at Marvel that he did write that I did like is She-Hulk. And I don't understand why they wouldn't take more elements of that comic book and put it into this show, because there's stuff in this show that they try to pull from the comic books, but they just don't do it right. And they want to add and infuse their own crap, but it's just bad. It's just bad. And I just don't understand why they do it. This show has just got awful. One other thing that they did in this episode was, and they put out there all these headlines of Megan the Stallion, so fucking pretentious, was going to be she was officially a part of the MCU. And I was like, okay. I was like, oh, I didn't know I was dealing with such a badass and everything. Turns out we're not dealing with a badass, because it turns out that Megan the Stallion is pretty basic and not that great of an actress. But then again, she was just playing herself. And herself just seems pretty much like every other female rapper, whatever she is. I don't know. I don't listen to her music. I've listened to like they played the end song where it was like that bada yada 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 yada. That's the only part I've ever heard that. Some hey little ways, I don't know, up in your face, yada 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 yada. That's music these days. Jesus. All right, maybe I'm too old. I'm out of it. Anyways, all right. So, and I want to get into some other stuff that I just feel like they really messed up, and this show had opportunity. And it dropped the ball big time. Before I get started on this breakdown, though, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we always get shoved to the back of the line. So I please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. Let me take my hat off again. Warm. And I thank you in advance. All right, let's get started on this breakdown. Yeah. Okay, so it starts out at the prison. Totally cool. I don't like the design of this prison, but I don't remember I remember in the prison that it was they had used the PIM particles to make everybody small. Because I just remember one panel. I really should pull it out and start rereading it again. But the one panel where she's like kneeling down and she's like looking at all the little inmates and everything. Anyways, so she's talking to Emil Blonsky, because if you remember last episode, it ended with that tape of him fighting Wong at that little street fight from Shang-Chi. So she's all like, you escaped. And he's like, yeah, but I chose to come back. So, ipso facto, it's fine. And she's all like, and he's like, but I didn't choose to go. I was taken. And she was like, you were taken by who? And he's all like, by a sorcerer supreme. And so she's like, and then her assistant, she's like, Wong. Now, her paralegal is not doing paralegal work because she's more like her PR social media person and or trying to be or whatnot. Very fashionable. I mean, it's ugly fashion, but very fashionable. And bad at her job, but she gets rewarded because girl power. So glad she brought her over from the DA's office. Anyways, so she's like Wong, and so she's looking at his. I don't know this is, if it's a LinkedIn or whatever, but it says Sorcerer Supreme, which I'm like, I don't understand how this is like on the internet like this. It's so stupid. That's how dumb this show is. So stupid. But one thing it says on there is Target Sales Associate, and I'm all like, are you serious right now with this bullshit? Like, all right, whatever. This is so dumb. So dumb. So she's driving in the car and then she stops. She's like, I sent him a thirst because it says on there, hold on. It says on there that he used to be a librarian for Comatage. And she's like, I sent him a thirst trap pic of me holding some books. And I'm all like, okay. I mean, like, you're cute, honey, but like kind of old looking there. Anyways. So then she breaks the fourth wall and she's all like, she comes and she's like, I know that you're all looking forward to these cameos, but it's not like they're going to happen all the time. And she's like, although, except for the Hulk. And what was the one in the second episode? And Abomination and Wong. And then she's like, huh. And then she's like, but just remember whose show this is. And it's like, okay, yeah. So then they go in here and she's like, oh, she's representing Abomination. And they're going into all this stuff. It doesn't even matter. And then they go through this small little montage, which was great. Like I said before, it's the where it's all these guys. Like this guy's all like, so okay. So there's a difference between what's going on because they're just replicating like YouTubers and men, white men, by the way, about how they're all like, it's really the MCU stance and everything, but like, why does a woman have to do it when a man did it first, kind of thing, that whole argument. But this show said it's derivative to do it. So I mean, it's so dumb. They're so dumb. Oh, gal, you're a big fucking retard. How about that? You're so stupid. Why are you turning every superhero into a girl? No one asked for that. See, I mean, like, this is the thing. Why everything got to be female now? I mean, this is the thing. She-Hulk is such a good character and they're ruining it. Not me by writing this garbage. They're ruining it. So then this guy's all, doing his thing and everything. And then this guy's like, no joke, I'd smash it and everything. I mean, it's like, and this stuff is true. This happens out here. Comments like this happen out there. They're obviously replicating, for instance, like, the RK Outposts and the Geeks and Gamers of the YouTube and everything. I've been called Geeks and Gamers before. It's fine though. I don't care. And this looks like, a political type kind of show. And it's just not, like I said, I keep saying it. It's the She-Hulk Man Haters Club. That's all it is. Anyways, so we get past here, and they're talking, and the boss calls her in. At her beck and call, like, get in here now. And she's all, and she's like, you need to get ahead of this. You need to do an interview and everything. And she's like, I just want to get through this case, and then everything will go back to normal. The CGI, by the way, here is terrible, fucking terrible. Which we'll talk about that with the end credit scene, because I have something to say about that. It's so obnoxious and annoying. Like, I can't, like, they need to let that Jennifer Gao chick stop talking, because the more she talks, the more she gets her fat face in trouble with her words. Anyways, so they walk in, and here's Dennis, and he's like, nope, and everything. So Dennis is being represented because he was taken advantage of, because he thought he was dating Megan the Stallion. That's her middle name, like she changed it, or she had it at birth. It's so pretentious. It's like, whatever. Anyways, and stallions, by the way, are male horses, which is not flattering to this chick. I'll say that right now. Oh, I know. I'm probably being unnecessarily mean, but they deserve it. Any criticism this show gets, negative criticism, it deserves it. 100%. Okay, so then this she walks in, and this character is from the comic books, but I don't remember her that much from the comic books. I really should pull it out and read it. I keep saying I should pull it out. That's what she said. And but I can't remember her character too much. She is from the comic. I just can't remember that much. Anyways, so she comes in to do it, and he's all like, no, not her. She might be my future wife. And she's like, I'm happy to step out. And she leaves. And then so she's like, so she starts making fun of him because she's like, you thought that you were dating Megan the Stallion, and you thought she drove a Passant. I don't know. Anyways. And then Wong pops in. He's like, I got your thirst trap and message. And she's like, I have to go and everything. And she's all like, good luck and everything. She's laughing at him or whatnot. And he's like, everything Abomination said is true. I took him and everything. But if you remember in Shang-Chi in backstage, he was totally chit-chatting it up with him and everything. I don't know. I don't know if I believe this story, but I still would have said no, he can't get probation. But she's like, you need to be a witness to this whole thing. Because and then he goes through and talks about like how they're erasing the memories spell and all this stuff. It was a lot of non-funny stuff. Anyways. So then he's sitting here talking about him. Oh, because he has a Red Bull, because he was complaining about a Red Bull and everything. He's like, how much money did she steal you for? It was $175,000. And he's like, that's the price of a house in some parts of the country. And he's like, what? Get out of here. And I'm all like, no one that goes to law school is this dumb. Now, there might be dumb lawyers out there, but nobody on the planet doesn't know that you can buy a house in parts of the country for $175,000. Like, I'm sorry. How do you not know that? There's parts of the country where you can buy a house for $100,000, depending on what it is. You can buy houses all the time for $100 and some odd $1,000. It's so dumb that he doesn't know this. Ugh, so dumb. Anyways, they're playing him off like he's like crazy dumb, and there's no way he's that dumb. It's dumb that they think somebody's that dumb. So anyways, they do their little fist bump handshake thing, and I'm all like, that's not how dudes work. They're writing this scene the way women think men react, and it's like, that's not how men react. Yeah, it's just not how it works. Anyways, so then he's watching a video of this little elf, this new Asgardian elf, light elf, is a shapeshifter, and she's like, I'm not Megan and everything. And I'm all like, this is so dumb. This old lesbian is just like not a good actress. Anyways, so then he comes back and he's like, I've had a change of heart. I knew what I was doing. Yada yada yada. I take it back. I don't want to sue anymore. And he gets a call from the real dentist, and he's all like, and then this one leaves, he's like, security. And then the light elf leaves, and he's like, I love harassing women in the workplace. It's how I get off or whatever. He's like, not cool. And she's like, this is just a taste of things to come. And I'm all like, I don't think that you're allowed to do this, light elf. I would bring this up in court with a video. And so then we go back to the prison where all these news places are coming through. They see her going in, and one guy's all like, is it true that you didn't get accepted to the Avengers? And she's like, rumor has it that she didn't get accepted into the Avengers or something stupid like that. So then the parole board hearing, and they're all talking about how can we release a monster? And it's basically this guy is like saying, let's not release him. And she's like saying, no, let's listen to what he has to say. It's a lot of dumb shit. Okay. Anyways, so she goes on and she's all like, oh, these ladies back here are the 7 soulmates. And I'm all like, are you kidding me right now with this nonsense? These 7 soulmates. It's so dumb. I hate this show. Okay. And I'd quit it, but these videos make me money, so gotta pay the bills. Anyways, so they're talking, they're basically like saying, like, he's like, I am reformed. When I get out of here, I'm going to have steady employment. I have a plot of land that these ladies have bought me. Sorry, my arrow is in the way. And these ladies have bought me my 7 soulmates. And they have said that they will support me financially. He's all like, and he's also, I choose to not be the abomination. I can be the abomination whenever I want. And then he gets a stellar recommendation from all these people saying that he's a good inmate, that he saved this guy's marriage. Apparently, this guy was a total loser. He's not worth staying married to. And so finally she's all like, oh, Wong shows up, gives his little spiel, and yeah. So then in the court, in this law, which the writers, Jennifer Cow, admitted that they didn't know how to write, that no one in the writers' room knew how to write courtroom scenes. And I'm like, why would you admit that? Why would you admit that? I'd never admit that in a million years. I would never admit that I was incompetent and inept in my job. Like, I would never admit that. I'd just be like, yeah, we did the best we could, or some crap like that, spin it. So basically, and she tries to do the diplomatic immunity thing, which was a good defense. The judge throws that out right away. It was a good defense. I was like, you know what? That's actually indicative of real life. People come to this country, America, best country in the world, and they do some of them do pretty crappy things, and then they say diplomatic immunity, and sometimes they get away with it. Like some really horrendous things. Yeah. So then she tries to say it was role play, that he knew that she was an elf and he was role playing. And the judge, he's like, no, we're going to trial. We're just going to go to trial. And what gets me about this is they could have really done a good job with this if they would have hired somebody that wrote law or courtroom scenes, and they did this kind of like, how you watch Law and Order, and they had their courtroom scenes. They could have done that, and it would have been brilliant, but they didn't, because they're dumb, big dummies. And then the judge leaves, and he comes back on stage, and he's like, I changed my mind. This is getting thrown out. And she's like, it is illegal to impersonate a judge. And she turns back, and she's all like, and I'm all like, what? Anyways. So then after he gets done, he's all like, I'm telling you, I choose to be the abomination. And then he turns into the abomination. He's like, I'll show you. I can become whatever I want. See, look, everything's okay. I'm not freaking out anybody. And turns back, and they're all like, Mr. Wong, and he's like, so supreme. I'm like, this is so obnoxious. Like, I swear. They're like, you just admitted to a crime, so we're gonna have to hold you. And he leaves. Then she leaves. She goes out, and she talks about how, like, on her way out to her car, there's a protester who we didn't see, wrote on there, a monster defending a monster. So they're back at the bar with her useless paralegal. And she's talking about how, like, you need to get ahead of this. I'm telling you, you need to do an interview, and this wouldn't be happening. And she's all like, because she's like, oh, and I see that you and Abomination are having a baby. That's why you're defending him and everything. He comes in, and she's all like, drink this. And he's like, how did you deal with Dennis? And they're all like, oh, he was just a self-absorbed, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, would you say that in court and everything? So then she comes and testifies and says that she would totally, because they're all like, who would believe that anybody would that he could be dating Megan the Stallion? And I go, anybody would believe they were dating Megan the Stallion, because why would Megan the Stallion just randomly show up somewhere? Unless it was really Megan the Stallion. I mean, he has no reason to believe it really wasn't her. And I'm just like, ugh. I'm like, stop it. But she's like, I do believe he's that dumb that he would believe it was Megan the Stallion, and he could get Megan the Stallion. I'm sorry. It's not that it is not not plausible. I mean, it is plausible that a regular person could be dating a superstar. It's happened before. It's not like it's never happened before. Like, it's so dumb that you wouldn't think that. Anyways, so long story short, he wins. He gets his $175,000. And she also goes to jail for impersonating a judge. And Megan Thee Stallion, this is one of the two scenes that she's in. She's like, that's right. There's only one Megan Thee Stallion. And I'm like, what is that? What is that? Why is your tongue out right now? What are you doing? Yeah. She looks good though. That's a good suit. And then he's like, "Do you think I have a chance with the real Megan the Stallion and everything?" And they're like, "No, stop." And he's like, "I don't." He's like, "There should be a way to take away her powers so she can't do this to other people." So true. They should have done what they do to Abomination in this episode. They should have taken away her powers so she couldn't do this again. Because after she gets out of prison, she could totally do this again to somebody else. She's like, "Oh, I just got an idea." So back in the prison, they let Emil Blonsky, Abomination, go. He gets out of jail on parole, and he. Oh, sorry. I know it's so boring. And only that he has to wear an inhibitor collar. He's like, "Oh yeah, cool," which he will take off immediately. He's gonna come back, don't worry. As Abomination, and he's all like, he's like, "You really should." She's like, she tells him about how, like, yeah, there was like a thing about how we were having a baby together and everything. It'd be so great to go back. And he's like, you really should get ahead of it. And he's like, they're gonna write stuff about you whether you like it or not. So maybe you should be a part of that. It's good advice. And so then she does an interview. And he's like, She-Hulk's on here. And she's like, "My name is actually Jennifer Walters. You can call me Jennifer Walters. It's cool and everything." And he's all like, he's asking her stuff. And then he's like, and then she's going to come back and tell us her diet tips. She's like, "Seriously?" Then back at her apartment, she pulls up. She's walking through this little alleyway, which I'm all like, why are you walking through this alleyway right here? Why don't you just go, I don't know, to the front door? Anyways, and this guy comes up behind and grabs her. And she's like, "Oh, yeah." And then she turns in She-Hulk, and then she's like, "Get off me." And she throws him off and everything. And then this guy comes up and he's like, "If you're just going to sit here and flaunt your powers, why don't you do something about it?" And she's like, "Is that what you think I'm doing? I'm flaunting my powers." So this right here is the Wrecking Crew. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the Wrecking Crew. This is the Wrecking Crew. The Wrecking Crew is like, they're dumb, but they're still cool. Like, they're just like low tier bad guys that I'm just like, why wouldn't you do this? Oh, that's right, because it's cheap and you guys don't want to, you guys can't spend any money because of your CGI She-Hulk and everything. Oh God, sorry. Sorry. Which we're gonna get into them just a little bit more in just a minute. But so this is the real Wrecking Crew right here. They look pretty cool. This is the Alley Express version of the Wrecking Crew. So then they start fighting. Oh yeah. Oh, she's like, "What did you do? You rob a Asgardian construction worker?" And they're like, "Yeah." So they start. Oh, this guy right here was just the worst. This guy right here, he was the worst part because they're all swinging their stuff, and he's all like with his head, and I'm like, "What's going on here? You just did that so you get the little light show while it was spinning. This little light show." I'm like, "It's so stupid." Anyways, so they start fighting. She's obviously winning because she knows how to fight now. Oh, and he tries to stab her with this needle because they want her blood. And so there's a lot of hitting here where these guys would be dead. Like this guy lands on his like back or whatever, and I'm like, how did he not break his neck? She uses the other guy's skull to smash his skull and knock him into the wall. I'm like, how is his skull not completely broken? They run away and they get in the van and they're like, did you get the blood? And he's like, "No, I couldn't pierce her skin. I couldn't pierce that ugly green skin." I was like, "Oh, what are you trying to say here?" And then he's like, "The boss is going to be mad." Now, it's I know it may be surprising to some of who the boss is, but we all know who it is. It's Titania, because they released this picture. I'm pretty sure this is the next episode. But look, this is the Wrecking Crew right here. And this is Titania. So I'm pretty sure that Titania is their boss. And she wants the Hulk blood so she can become a bigger version of herself. Or maybe it's, Abomination, whatever, because they're clearly at his little retreat, which we will see probably in the next episode because we will see him again. And Titania has worked with the Wrecking Crew before. I mean, this is from a cartoon, but in the comic book, she has worked with the Wrecking Crew before. So it's not, unheard of for her to be working with them. But so then they drive away, and then she's picking up her papers, and she looks at herself in the reflection. Oh, I feel bad for me. And that's where the episode ends. And I'm all like, oh, what a fucking dud of an episode. This show sucks, yo. It sucks hard. And we got 6 more episodes. I really hope they drop the last 2 at the same time so I can just cover those and be done with it. Like, oh my gosh, it's so stupid. So let's go over to the end credits scene. So we're back at the law firm, and she walks in. She's like, "Hello, my new client, Megan the Stallion." And I'm all like, "Why would Megan the Stallion be your client? She's not she's not a superpowered person." And she also did the thing while she was signing. She was like, ah. And I'm like, "Why are you sticking your tongue out every 5 seconds? What is that? Stop doing that. Normal people don't do that. You're fucking weird." What is that? Yo, youngsters, tell me what's up with that. Every 5 seconds. You know, why do you guys do that? It's so weird. It's so weird. Keep your tongue in your mouth. He comes by and he sees them twerking. Now, I just want to say, okay, so Jennifer Gao, I was going to bring this up again. She, of course, opened her fat face again. And she's all like, we had to take out a bunch of scenes because we couldn't afford CGI She-Hulk. And then they kept this dumb shit in, her twerking. And it's bad CG. This is bad CGI. Who is dressing the Hulk, by the way? She-Hulk. Who's dressing her? Like, like, this is so bad. And she's like, oh, you're way more funner than my other lawyer. And she's like, I would kill for you, Megan Thee Stallion. And she's like, all right, back it up. And yeah, it was so dumb. It's so dumb. So this show is not, it's not good. It's not good. It's just terrible. It's really, really bad. It's a really bad show. It's badly written. I feel so bad for that Tatiana Maslany has to act with this god awful script. Yeah, it just sucks. It just sucks. Yeah, that's all I got. It's a bad episode. It's a bad show. If you like it, listen. If you like it, I'm more power to you. But it's very obvious that if you like it, you don't have taste. So I mean. Sorry, you just don't. Listen, that's how it is. You know, we can't all have taste. So, me personally, I just like good writing. I could deal with the bad CGI, the god awful CGI, if it was good writing. Okay, but it's not. It's not good writing. Yeah, all right, that's my thoughts on this. You guys tell me what you guys thought about this. Did you like this episode? Did you not like this episode? Do you hate me for not liking this show? It's fine if you do. I can deal with it. I can deal with a lot of stuff. Slam me in that comment section down below. Yeah, if you like this video, go and hit that like button. You know, I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next She-Hulk breakdown and review. You guys have a good week. Bye.